What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and in this video we are going to take a look at a Morgana game where we're going to be playing a Royals comp, a little bit of a departure from all of the trees we've been seeing recently, and things are going to be off to a pretty good start. Sherwood Sure Shot plus a free roll is going to allow us to lock Humpty Dumpty plus for glory, which is a really good combo because that means that we'll probably win our combat next turn, and then we'll get that for glory trigger. We'll just have additional units and be able to keep winning. So that is the plan, at least. And unfortunately, we are going to take a loss in this first combat up against the Potion Master's Unicorn, but I think that we will be in a pretty good spot going forward is kind of the idea. So let's jump ahead for a second. One thing, we are against Gwen, so it could work out bad for us if they've like Knight-hooded a Humpty Dumpty or something like that. However, they just have Sherwood Sure Shot plus Frog Prince, which just beats us because the Frog Prince is out in front and able to soak up our Sure Shot hit, so they crack our egg and hit us for some damage. A little bit awkward, but we gotta find a way back into it. We're gonna take some more damage so that we can Forbidden Fruit plus roll, try to hit another princess, and we're gonna find another Humpty Dumpty, which I think is a fine pickup here. We're gonna try to get back into the game with the Humpty Dumpty. I'm also gonna backline the Sherwood Sure Shot and the Lonely Prince so that the same thing doesn't happen to us as last combat, that maybe now they can attack into the Humpty Dumpty and then the Sherwood Sure Shot can kind of do its thing. But unfortunately, the thing that attacks into a Humpty Dumpty is a huge unicorn from the Fates. So we're going to be suffering another loss and another cracked egg here. Taking damage isn't the worst thing on Morgana. Maybe we'll grab an early tier 3 treasure, but things are looking pretty awkward. We have to roll to try to find a princess, and I find a bunch of them. But I think, honestly, I just wasn't thinking about this fully. I was maybe only half paying attention. I saw that we had a shop full of princesses and just assumed that, okay, anything that we purchase here is going to flip over the Lonely Prince. So things are not looking so hot. But Morgana does have, or Morgan does have that catch-up mechanic. And also, it looks like this Horde Dragon really isn't doing anything. They've got the kidnap. So they really haven't put too much on the board. That's going to allow us to win the For Glory. We pick up a doubly for free, which isn't like the most exciting thing. But hey, we're back in the game. We got to win finally. We can flip over our Lonely Prince. And then we can probably pick up like Princess Peep plus Cindy after we sell the doubly. And this helps us get back into it. I'm going to backline the Peeps, because otherwise if the Peep gets attacked, then one of the sheep can spawn in front of the stag, and then one of the sheep can just not even spawn at all. But we want this stag attacking first. Stag attacking, giving 2 Sherwood Sure Shots a buff, is definitely a way that we can get back into this. And we got some good combat RNG for the first 2 hits of this combat. First 3 hits, really. All of this is going pretty swimmingly. And now we just have my opponent's Baby Root here against all of my ranged units. We're going to pump up their creepers and their Baby Root in the back line a little bit, but then my ranged units get to take it down. Girls get it done. So that is a pretty nice turnaround, and now we're up against the Ghost, so we have even a little bit more of a breather. I think that this is potentially a little bit of a softer lobby with the dead player and the Horde Dragon potentially. Excuse me. So I'm going to pick up a prized pig here as well, just because we will be up against the Ghost, and then I'm debating this Vampire. It's probably reasonable to pick up because we are against the Ghost, though. Do have some consideration for like wanting to just play a spell. And Forbidden Fruit taking a little bit more damage isn't exactly the spell that I wanted to run, but we'll figure it out. And then we get to lock an upgrade of the Frog Prince if that's what we want to do as well. Though I guess I'm deciding not to lock the Frog Prince because we are on 3.2. so we're about to go into 4.0. And makes sense. The prized pig gold, we're going to get a little bit of extra gold this turn as well because we are up against the ghost. So hopefully we can turn this into something nice. We are at least going to get a tier 4 treasure out of Morgan, though let's not count our chickens just yet. This opponent is, well, we aren't that strong, and this ghost actually did bring the full squad of 7 units, which I was not expecting. So they're going to be looking pretty good, but we are still going to win and get that prized pig gold going into 4.0. That was a close one. That would have been embarrassing. And now we have to see where we want to go from here. We could go into Chupacabra. We do have all of these royals, which is definitely worth considering. We can pick up a Lonely Prince right here, and that definitely makes me consider pushing into Royal Sum. Secret Stash is fun on Morgan. However, when you really want to pick up the Secret Stash is when you were at like 19. But I'm just taking it because we've already taken so much damage this game, and I just want to not die. So that's just my full goal here. I'll pick up a Prince Arthur, and then that is probably enough to like really push us into this Royals comp and figure out what we're doing here. And then I'll cast a Burning Palm to tick down the Cindy and to pump up a Sherwood Sure Shot a little bit. But it's really just to start to get that Cindy online, and we'll see what we can do from here. At no point was I really trying to like force royals or anything like that. It was just what presented itself. The Sherwood Sure Shots early in the game was, if anything, trying to force like Humpty Dumptys or something like that. Maybe Morgan gives you a little bit more flexibility in terms of forcing some weird things. I think that just the game didn't go well. I think that's the better way to look at it here. Some things definitely fell apart at the start of the game, but we're turning some things around here. We're only going to take a little bit of damage here, 7 damage against the Potion Master, or 6 damage rather. So we'll go down to 25. We get to take another Arthur, and could also take Gingerbread Knight. I think we're probably going to be losing some health soon, so Gingerbread Knight is a pretty safe pick, and then I'll roll. Could have taken the Luna's Grace. I think we're just going to roll and see if we can find anything better, and Genie's Wish is definitely better. That's going to activate Cindy right now and allow us to pick up a tier 2 treasure. Piggy Bank, Lock Chest, both of these are just okay. Another thing that we could do is we could skip the treasure and then sell Prized Pig and purchase the second copy of Gingerbread Knight. That is also not a bad use of our gold for the turn, though I don't hate Piggy Bank ever either. I just think that, Piggy Bank's honestly actually pretty fine when you are Morgana, or Morgan rather, because it means that you like can feel free to play a little bit risky. Obviously, wouldn't mind hitting a tier 4 treasure if we could find the Sky Castle. There's some other good tier 4 treasures that we could definitely make use out of here and just like start to combine basically our whole board. We're looking pretty good, and the combat RNG works out very well for us on this turn, and we also just have like a pretty sizable board here with all of these royals now, and Sherwood Sure Shot girls are going to be able to get it done here in the end. Actually, I guess Arthur will get it done as we knock our opponent down to 19, put them in gingerbread range. Could take Sherwood Sure Shot, but I'm just banking on a Sky Castle here, and I don't want to waste that 2 gold. I'm thinking we've got these 2 princes that we can mine. We can Gingerbread Knight, and if we find a Sky Castle here, which we do, I'm going to look pretty smart for not purchasing that Sherwood Sure Shot. So now we get to combine the Sherwood Sure Shot. I do not trust myself with a Needle Nose Dagger, so I'm going to go ahead and skip on that treasure and then pick up a Fool's Gold, which will potentially help us roll for some additional Arthurs. We are moving on to 5.0 next turn, which means that we're going to start to see a little bit less Arthurs, but throughout the rest of level 5, if we can find 2 more Arthurs, some Juliets, and some Romeos, we've got a nice comp, and that is the idea. And one thing that I think is kind of cool here with Morgan is, let me back it up for a second just while I say this. One thing that is interesting sometimes with the Royals comps is you get to tier 4 treasures and then you stop. It's much more difficult to, I mean, unless you go for like Lancelot, or you're trying to like combine a good boy or pivot out of your comp, or 9 Sea Terror can also work. It's hard to get those tier 5 and tier 6 treasures typically on a Royals comp, but that's where Morgan can come in, because now whenever we lose a combat, which it looks like we might be losing this one, especially because we just summon so much stuff for my opponent out of the donkey, and then we kill those things, and then the donkey summons more things. This combat works out super, super awkward for us, and my opponent has a really nice comp together here. We're going to lose this one, but we are going to get a tier 5 treasure, which is pretty nice for Royals, which would otherwise have a little bit of difficulty getting access to that. So tier 5 options, we've got Mimic, Monkey's Paw, and Hand of Midas, and we could totally pivot. We've got Burning Tree plus Hand of Midas, and that could let us get an upgraded Burning Tree, or we could just take Mimic Chest plus Fool's Gold. And I think that that's probably going to be good enough for us. Mimic Chest plus Sky Castle doesn't do anything, but now 8 gold a turn is going to be pretty good for us. And we'll pick up the Juliet to go along with the Romeo, and then we will pick up another Juliet to triple that or double that. And now we've got the option to take Reduplicator, which I think we've got to go for. We're so weak. I think we're facing up against the 40 health Fates this turn, so I want to put something strong on the board, and this will mean now that when Romeo dies, it's going to summon 3 Juliets, which is a pretty huge power spike. So that's the plan here. Gingerbread Knight also online now, so that's a pretty reasonable power spike as well. And hopefully we can do some damage to the Fates. They have not lost a combat. They probably don't still have their egg at this point. If they do, well, then we might not have any hope at all. But they are actually also in Royals, and actually I think that we're bigger because we're able to pick up these Gingerbread Knights, and this is looking pretty good. Juliet's going to go down. We're going to take out the 9 Sea Terror, and then my opponent doesn't really have a backline. So we are the first person to defeat this undefeated Fates player, and that feels pretty good. We don't even make use of the Reduplicator, which does feel a little bit bad, to be honest, because I would have liked the extra 8 gold to be rolling with on this turn. Would have helped us find some more Prince Arthurs potentially. Unfortunately, doesn't look like we're going to find too much of anything this turn. One more roll for Arthur. Okay, that's nice. We can sell Prized Pig and throw an Arthur in over the Stag. Might as well sell the Stag. I guess it doesn't really matter. It's all the same. And yeah, things are looking pretty good. We are definitely scaling, and that is the point of the Royals comp. If we do take some more damage, we'll be able to grab another tier 5 treasure. I'd really like to complete this Arthur and potentially this Romeo as well before we get rid of the Sky Castle. At the very least, I want to complete the Arthur. I don't really care about the Romeos. Though scaling the Romeos or combining them does allow us to scale them with the Arthurs as well. But the main consideration here is getting some more Arthurs. We are going to lose our Romeo here to a Lightning Dragon, so that is unfortunate. It takes out a huge amount of our power this turn, and is going to mean that we lose this one, and we go down to 7. So not quite 5 either. Would have liked to take even a little bit more damage, but now if we ever find another Forbidden Fruit, we are definitely casting that. We've cast, I think, 3 Forbidden Fruits already this game, so wouldn't mind casting one more. Gonna skip on those treasures for Arthur, but very happy to have found the Arthur, and yeah, now we're really just looking for Romeos. I mean, I'll play another Arthur if we can find it. I guess I'd play it over the Frog Prince potentially, depending on how strong I think we need to be. But now we find another treasure, and we could take the Merlin's Hat. A Mimic Chest on the Merlin's Hat is totally fine. Make our spells cost 4 less, and I don't really think that we need the Sky Castle at this point in the game, but I'm going to hang on to it just for another second. maybe we can find some more Arthurs or more Romeos or something like that. That's basically the hope here, is to find more Romeos, because it's really the only way that you can start to scale this Royals board beyond the +8/+8 that we're giving all of our units every turn, which is definitely something. And then the other way that we can scale it is by finding that forbidden fruit and grabbing a tier 6 treasure. So even just skipping on the Merlin's hat just to roll 2 more times for forbidden fruit is probably worth it, because whatever tier 6 treasure we get is going to be doubled thanks to the mimic chest, and that is honestly quite good. But for right now, I mean, just this gingerbread knight is also quite good. Our units are large and in charge, and it's making me feel pretty good about our current status in the game. We're going to be able to take out this Zelhua. It looks like 14 damage. I mean, 14, we're taking out most of the lobby at this point, and we haven't even used our Romeo Reduplicator Mimic Chest once. 6.0 now, I'll pick up another Prince Arthur, and if we can find another one quickly, I will cut the Frog Prince. I think that it's a little bit of a speculative purchase, but there's just not many things at this point in the game as a Royals comp that you can even purchase, so I don't mind purchasing this one. But I think Romeo is better than Prince Arthur. I think that it just represents another Juliet, even bigger Juliet, because it gives it +7/+7. So I'm going to sell the Arthur that I just picked up for this Romeo, and I think that that is a good use of my coin here. Just trying to play the strongest board that I possibly can. At this point, if we lose, we are going to be dead, because players are level 6, so they'll hit us for at least 7 damage. So I do want to be mindful of that. Juliet's going to trade with a Hercules with a magic sword, which is great, and then our gingerbread knight is going to take down a Lancelot and then survive a court wizard trigger. So pretty good stuff. My opponent does have a rather large court wizard, which is a little bit annoying, but you look at our back line, our units are still huge, and that's going to allow us to win this combat. Here come a bunch of Juliets, and we're going to get a kill here as well. This is going to be, what, 21 damage? Yeah, almost the full amount of damage that you can deal. At this point, we're basically killing anybody except for the fates that we play against. Knighthood on Romeo, kind of cute, but definitely a waste of gold. Pigomorph seems great, though, and now probably just rolling for another Romeo. I'd potentially lock a Forbidden Fruit as well. And then, oh, yes. Okay, so I just briefly, I might not have even moused over. It might have just remembered that this Horde Dragon player was the player that had us with a bunch of lightning dragons. But I am going to frontline my Romeos here to try to play around lightning dragons, because I feel like they're probably going to snipe my backline here. It was all a dream feels so bad when all we have to find is a forbidden fruit and we can grab a tier 6 treasure. So I'm going to lock a drink me potion now, and that should help us find that forbidden fruit. Yeah, here we can see the Horde Dragons board. They had 2 lightning dragons, so going to just try to negate some of their board by putting my larger units in the front, but I still want to put Juliet in the front, and hopefully that can still die before the Romeos. We only really need 1 Romeo to die. We're actually going to Pigo one of their dragons, so we take that out. Romeo does die before our Juliet, but then we do have Romeo die before or after Juliet, because we have the 2 Romeos there. So this is going to be enough. This is going to work out well enough for us. We take out my opponent's Storm King, and then they really don't have a back line, and we do, because we moved our big units to our back line. So that's going to be enough to get a win on Horde Dragon, another burst of 21 damage. We're potentially on to the finals here, as the Fates might have taken out Zelhua. I'll go for the Drink Me potion, and unfortunately we find a healing potion. We're looking for that forbidden fruit. I really want to damage myself. Honestly, that's the only thing that we can do at this point in the game, though Pigomorph, that's actually, I lied. That's also going to be something that we can do. So that's definitely a worthwhile pickup. I'll Pigomorph. I'll roll a few more times. We're not quite going to find the forbidden fruit, and we are now up against the Fates. And don't forget, we played against the Fates, I think 3 turns ago, and we beat them, and we've only gotten stronger since then. And I think we've probably gotten stronger than them since then, because we've got more Arthurs. We had more Arthurs. We had the Sky Castle. They are going to be able to do a little bit of work with this fog, but honestly, we're looking pretty good. The Phoenix Feather is going to summon 2 Brave Princesses, and I thought that was because we pigomorphed the Hercules, but turns out that is actually just their biggest unit. And we'll summon some Juliets here. Those will be pretty nice for us, but these Brave Princesses are big. This is actually going to be a pretty close combat here, but we are going to walk away with a win. 15 damage. If we can do that one more time, then we found ourselves a win. Still looking for Forbidden Fruit. Let's roll a Drink Me potion. That is going to be a swing and a miss, though, and we'll just keep on looking. I don't think we wind up finding anything else of value. Like Queen's Grace is kind of cute. Mix-a-Whizzle, nothing we can do with that. There was another Romeo, could have played another Romeo. It plays around Fog, though don't think it's super likely my opponent plays another Fog. Let's just keep rolling and try to find that Forbidden Fruit, and unfortunately, we are not going to get there. So let's see if we are able to take Fates out, even though we are really only playing with, I guess, 2 treasures. We've got a Reduplicator and a Mimic Chest at this point, and not really even making super good use of our hero power. My opponent is going to resummon some Brave Princesses again, because that actually just is their largest unit. So we'll take out one of them, and then the other one will trade with Gingerbread, and then here come my Juliets. And we just need our backline to survive. If just our backline survives, we actually get a kill, and yeah, we're going to hit him for 21. So there we go. I think that this was a pretty interesting game. We didn't really make too much use of Morgana, to be honest, or Morgan, sorry, to be honest. We really just made use of Prince Arthur. We got that early Sky Castle, and we tripled some Arthurs, and the rest of the lobby just died pretty quickly, and there wasn't enough time for everybody to recover. And I think that that's pretty good, considering you have to remember how bad this game actually started off for us, with our eggs getting cracked in 2 successive turns at the start of the game. Despite all that, we were able to put it together, and I won't say that Morgana did nothing. I mean, the Mimic Chest, a free extra Juliet, was pretty good for the turns that mattered, but honestly, that was just on the strength of Royals for the most part, and Royals were able to get it done, and that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.